Let's dive deep into the stories that shape our world. Today, we're uncovering a topic that has profoundly influenced global history and continues to resonate today: the complex relationship and historical conflicts between Muslims and Christians. You might think you know the story, but trust me, there are layers to this tale that will surprise you. Stick around because this is one video you won't want to miss. For over a millennium, the interactions between the Muslim and Christian worlds have been marked by both conflict and cooperation. From the early days of Islam and the Crusades to the modern geopolitical landscape, the relationship between these two faiths has been a dynamic and often turbulent one. Understanding this history is crucial not only for comprehending past events, but also for gaining insight into current global tensions and finding pathways to peace. In this video, we're going to journey through time to explore the major events, figures, and turning points that have defined Muslim-Christian relations. We'll examine the roots of their interactions, the iconic battles and periods of peace, and the enduring impacts on culture and society. So let's get started. The early interactions. The story begins in the 7th century with the birth of Islam. Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, established the new faith in the Arabian Peninsula, and within a century, Islamic armies had expanded into regions predominantly inhabited by Christians, including parts of the Byzantine Empire and the Sasanian Empire. Early interactions were complex. While there were conflicts, such as the Muslim conquests of Syria and Egypt, there were also periods of coexistence and cooperation. In many cases, Christians were allowed to practice their religion under Islamic rule in exchange for paying a tax known as the jizya, the Crusades. One of the most significant and well-known chapters in Muslim-Christian relations is the Crusades, which spanned from the late 11th century to the late 13th century. These were a series of religious wars initiated by European Christians to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. The First Crusade, 1096 to 1099, marked by the capture of Jerusalem in 1099, the First Crusade was characterized by brutal battles and the establishment of Crusader states in the Levant. Subsequent Crusades. Over the next 2 centuries, multiple crusades were launched, resulting in varying degrees of success and failure. The Third Crusade, 1189 to 1192, for example, saw the famous confrontation between Richard the Lionheart and the Muslim leader Saladin. The Crusades left a legacy of deep-seated animosity, but also periods of mutual respect and cultural exchange. For instance, the Crusaders were introduced to new technologies, medicine, and philosophies from the Islamic world. The Ottoman Empire. Moving forward to the 15th century, the rise of the Ottoman Empire dramatically reshaped Muslim-Christian relations. The Ottomans, a Muslim dynasty, conquered Constantinople in 1453, marking the end of the Byzantine Empire and a significant shift in power. Under Ottoman rule, a millet system was established, allowing various religious communities, including Christians, a degree of autonomy to govern their own affairs. While there were certainly instances of persecution, many Christians lived relatively peacefully under Ottoman rule and contributed to the empire's diverse cultural tapestry. The Reconquista. In contrast, in the Iberian Peninsula, the Reconquista was unfolding. This was the effort by Christian kingdoms to reclaim territory from Muslim Moors, who had ruled parts of Spain and Portugal since the early 8th century. The Reconquista culminated in 1492 with the fall of Granada, the last Muslim stronghold, and the expulsion of Jews and Muslims from Spain. This period was marked by both fierce battles and significant cultural exchange, influencing art, architecture, and science. Colonialism and modern conflicts. The age of European colonialism in the 18th and 19th centuries brought new dimensions to Muslim-Christian interactions. European powers, driven by economic interests and a sense of religious and cultural superiority, colonized vast territories in Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, many of which were predominantly Muslim. Colonial rule often exacerbated religious tensions as policies of divide and rule pitted religious communities against each other. In the 20th century, the decline of colonial empires and the subsequent drawing of arbitrary national borders further complicated relations, contributing to modern conflicts in places like the Middle East. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict. One of the most enduring and contentious issues between Muslims and Christians and Jews in the modern era is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The establishment of the State of Israel in 1948 in a predominantly Muslim region led to a series of wars and ongoing disputes over land, sovereignty, and the rights of displaced peoples. This conflict has religious, historical, and political dimensions and remains a significant source of tension in Muslim-Christian relations. Dialogue and cooperation. Despite the history of conflict, there have been numerous efforts toward dialogue and cooperation. Interfaith initiatives have sought to bridge gaps, promote understanding, and work towards peace. Religious leaders from both faiths have come together to address common issues such as poverty, social justice, and the environment. The Second Vatican Council, 1962 to 1965, marked a significant moment in the Catholic Church's approach to other religions, including Islam. The Council's document, Nostra Aetate, called for mutual understanding and respect between Christians and Muslims. Cultural exchange. Throughout history, cultural exchanges have enriched both Muslim and Christian societies. The translation movement in the Abbasid Caliphate, where Greek philosophical and scientific texts were translated into Arabic, is a prime example. These texts later made their way to Europe, significantly influencing the Renaissance. Muslim Spain, or Al-Andalus, was another center of cultural and intellectual exchange. Here, Muslims, Christians, and Jews coexisted and contributed to a vibrant and flourishing society that made significant advancements in science, medicine, and the arts. Contemporary relations. Today, Muslim-Christian relations are multifaceted, varying significantly across different regions and communities. In some areas, Muslims and Christians live peacefully as neighbors, while in others, religious tensions and conflicts persist. Issues such as terrorism, Islamophobia, and political extremism have strained relations, but have also led to renewed efforts for dialogue and understanding. Interfaith organizations, academic institutions, and grassroots movements continue to work towards building bridges and fostering mutual respect. Prominent figures like Pope Francis and various Muslim leaders have been vocal advocates for peace and interreligious dialogue. In this conclusion, the history of Muslim-Christian relations is a tapestry of conflict and cooperation, shaped by a myriad of factors. While the past has seen significant strife, it has also witnessed remarkable moments of coexistence and mutual enrichment. Understanding this complex history is essential for moving towards a future where dialogue and cooperation prevail over division and conflict. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.